Over 50? What if the reason your energy feels lower, your waistline feels tighter, and your recovery takes longer is not simply age, but outdated nutrition advice? After menopause, a woman's physiology shifts in very specific ways. Estrogen declines, muscle becomes less responsive to protein, bone turnover increases, blood sugar regulation changes, and the stress response becomes more sensitive to aggressive calorie restriction. Yet most diet trends still treat women over 50 like younger adults. But here is what is fascinating. Research in female physiology shows that small adjustments in protein timing, meal structure, and fasting length can make a measurable difference in muscle preservation, metabolic health, and overall resilience. In this video, I will walk you through 6 practical, science-backed nutrition and fasting habits tailored specifically for women over 50, ranked from foundational to most powerful. Stay until the end, because number 1 often changes how women approach fasting entirely. Let us begin. Number 1. Eat protein at every main meal. If you are over 50 and feel like maintaining strength has become harder than it used to be, this is often linked to something called anabolic resistance. As estrogen declines after menopause, muscle becomes less responsive to smaller amounts of protein. At the same time, muscle breakdown can increase. This is not speculation. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition by Momoro and colleagues in 2014 found that distributing protein evenly across breakfast, lunch, and dinner increased 24-hour muscle protein synthesis by about 25%, compared to eating most protein in one large evening meal. Aging muscle does not respond well to long gaps, followed by one heavy dose. And that matters, because muscle is deeply connected to metabolic health, glucose control, balance, and long-term independence in older women. In practical terms, this means building each main meal around a quality protein source. Eggs, yogurt, fish, legumes, poultry, tofu. Consistency is more important than extremes. After 50, protein is no longer optional for strength. It becomes structural support for healthy aging. Number 2. Replace refined fats with olive oil, nuts, and fatty fish. After menopause, the protective effect of estrogen on the cardiovascular system weakens. Blood lipids often shift. LDL cholesterol can rise. HDL may decline. Arterial stiffness can gradually increase. That is why the quality of fat on your plate becomes more influential than it was decades ago. Large dietary trials support this shift in focus. The pre-dimed study, published in the New England Journal of Medicine in 2013, followed older adults at elevated cardiovascular risk. It found that a Mediterranean-style eating pattern enriched with extra virgin olive oil or mixed nuts significantly lowered major cardiovascular events compared to a low-fat control diet. Women formed a substantial portion of the participants, making the findings highly relevant after midlife. Monounsaturated fats from olive oil and polyunsaturated omega-3 fats from fatty fish help improve lipid profiles and may reduce inflammatory signaling. By contrast, diets heavy in ultra-processed foods often combine refined oils with excess sodium and added sugars. Practically, this looks simple. Use extra virgin olive oil as your primary cooking fat. Add nuts or seeds to meals. Include fatty fish regularly. Consistency in these swaps influences long-term heart resilience. Number 3. Add 2 calcium-rich foods and support vitamin D daily. Bone is living tissue. After menopause, the balance between bone breakdown and bone rebuilding shifts. Estrogen normally helps regulate this cycle. When it declines, bone resorption can outpace formation, increasing the risk of osteopenia and osteoporosis over time. Nutrition becomes one of the few daily tools you control. Major health organizations, including the National Osteoporosis Foundation, emphasize adequate calcium and vitamin D intake for women over 50 to support bone mineral density. Research consistently shows that insufficient intake of either nutrient is associated with lower bone mass and higher fracture risk in postmenopausal women. Vitamin D plays a critical role because it enhances calcium absorption in the gut and supports muscle function, which also reduces fall risk. In practical terms, this does not require complicated planning. Aim to include at least 2 calcium-rich foods each day: yogurt, kefir, fortified plant milks, sardines with bones, leafy greens such as kale and bok choy. Alongside that, ensure regular safe sunlight exposure or dietary sources that support adequate vitamin D status. Strong bones are not built in a month. They are preserved through steady, consistent nourishment. Number 4. Cut hidden salt and drink water before you feel thirsty. Blood pressure tends to rise with age. After menopause, that upward trend can accelerate. Estrogen once helped keep blood vessels more flexible. As levels decline, vascular tone changes and sodium sensitivity can increase. That means the same amount of salt that once felt harmless may now have a stronger impact on blood pressure. Large studies, including findings from the DASH dietary trials published in the New England Journal of Medicine, demonstrate that reducing sodium intake and increasing intake of whole foods, rich in potassium, can significantly lower blood pressure in adults, including older women. Even modest reductions in sodium have measurable cardiovascular benefits. The challenge is that most sodium does not come from the salt shaker. It hides in packaged breads, sauces, soups, processed meats, and ready meals. Becoming label-aware is one of the simplest protective habits you can build. Hydration also plays a quiet but important role. Mild dehydration can worsen fatigue, dizziness, and constipation. Instead of waiting for thirst, drink water consistently throughout the day. This is not dramatic nutrition advice. It is quiet prevention, repeated daily, protecting heart and brain health over time. Number 5. Start your fasting with a gentle 12-hour eating window. Fasting is often presented as a test of discipline: longer windows, fewer meals, more restriction. But for women over 50, the conversation needs to be more nuanced. Hormonal shifts after menopause alter how the body responds to stress, including the stress of prolonged calorie restriction. Research on time-restricted eating shows that modest fasting windows can improve insulin sensitivity and metabolic flexibility, without the strain associated with extended fasts. Reviews published in journals such as the Annual Review of Nutrition note that shorter daily fasting periods, often around 12 to 14 hours, may support cardiometabolic health in midlife and older adults. Extremely long fasts, however, can elevate stress hormones and may not be appropriate for everyone. A 12-hour eating window is simple. Finish dinner at 7 in the evening. Eat breakfast around 7 the next morning. During the overnight fast, insulin levels fall and the body shifts toward using stored energy. This approach respects circadian rhythm. Eat during daylight hours. Allow digestion to rest overnight. It is a starting point, not a competition. After 50, stability often delivers better results than intensity. Number 6. Eat slowly and stop at comfortable fullness. Hunger and fullness signals change with age. Hormones such as ghrelin and leptin, which regulate appetite, can become less predictable after menopause. At the same time, eating quickly makes it easier to consume more than your body truly needs before satiety signals have time to register. Research published in journals such as Nutrients has shown that slower eating speed is associated with lower energy intake and improved post-meal glucose control. Taking more time with meals allows insulin and gut hormones like GLP-1 to respond gradually, supporting steadier blood sugar levels. For women over 50, this becomes particularly important because insulin sensitivity may already be reduced. Practically, this means sitting down without distractions, chewing thoroughly, pausing midway through the meal. Ask yourself whether you feel nourished rather than overly full. This habit costs nothing and requires no special foods. Yet over time, it supports digestion, weight stability, and metabolic balance through awareness rather than restriction. This is not about extreme dieting or chasing the latest trend. After 50, your body responds better to steady, intelligent habits than to intensity or restriction. Small, consistent adjustments in how you eat and when you eat can support muscle, heart health, metabolic stability, and long-term independence. You do not need to apply all 6 strategies at once. Choose one that feels manageable and begin there. Build gradually, give your body time to respond.